Welcome to Xbox On, where today we're gazing out towards Forza Horizon 5 and mapping out some of the best racing games that Xbox has to offer. First things first though, as I mentioned, let's recap why you should be super excited for Forza Horizon 5 coming on November 9th. For one thing, it features the largest and most diverse map the open world racing series has ever seen. Set in Mexico, Forza Horizon 5 will give you the chance to kick up dust in a desert, beat a path through the jungle, or even tear along the rim of a volcano. But wherever you go, you can be sure that it's going to look absolutely gorgeous, especially on the Xbox Series X and S, thanks to the game's mind-blowing 4K visuals and the stunning level of detail they've given to this world. Best of all, Xbox Game Pass members will be given the keys on day one too, meaning they can drive it away as part of their subscription. Now, how do you say nice in Spanish?
But whilst we wait for Forza Horizon 5, there are the two Forza games which are already available on Game Pass, Forza Horizon 4 and Motorsport 7. The fourth Horizon game takes place decidedly closer to home, with a bunch of beautiful British locations appearing in condensed form, including Edinburgh, the Lake District and the Cotswolds. Plus, they're all looking better than ever on next-gen hardware thanks to an update which has the game running at 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X and S. And that's exactly the sort of silky speed and fine engineering you'll find plenty of in Forza Motorsport 7, where the winding country roads are swapped out for the sort of smooth tarmac that's ideal for real speed freaks. And with over 700 cars to choose from, you'll never be light on horsepower. Plus, there's also a brand new motorsport game on the way, one which has been built specifically for next-gen hardware. Between that and Forza Horizon 5, it's just a really good time to be a Forza fan.
If it's authenticity you're after in your racing games, then might I advise you look no further than F1 2021. The latest entry in the Formula 1 series lets you get closer than ever before to fulfilling your childhood dreams of driving a real race car, meticulously recreating the handling and tyre dynamics which real racers experience out on the track. Turns out driving at 200 miles an hour is actually kinda tricky, but could have fooled me. But whether or not you're up to the challenge that this level of realism presents, you're sure to look fantastic as you whiz madly around the bends and eyeball-drying 120 frames per second on the next-gen consoles. And with ray trace replays on offer, you'll be able to relive all your greatest triumphs and most epic crashes in true style.
Speaking of crashes, sometimes it does seem like it would be more fun to drive towards the other cars rather than away from them. In video games, I mean, not in real life. Definitely don't do that in real life. Wreckfest is the perfect way to indulge all your road ragiest impulses without ending up in court, letting you pick between a no-holds-barred race where sideswiping your competitors is actively encouraged, or a good old demolition derby where the last car standing wins. Either choice presents plenty of opportunity for absolute chaos, especially when you throw in wackier vehicle choices like school buses and lawnmowers. Quick tip to get you started though, the lawnmowers do not tend to fare very well in that situation. Thanks to a next-gen update that you can purchase, you can even enjoy the carnage in up to 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X and S, which really lets you appreciate the finer details of your vehicle as they go soaring off through the air.
If you like to play dirtier than an Italian centre-back, then Dirt 5 might just be the perfect game for you. With races set all around the world, Dirt 5 lets you get to grips with the more rustic side of professional racing, let's say. That means off-road rallies, ice racing, super truck events, and basically anything that involves big noisy cars charging across terrain upon which you would not usually expect to see big noisy cars. And this one has also been Xbox Series X and S optimized, so next-gen players can enjoy a full face of gravel in glorious 120 frames per second. Dirt 5 is available right now on Xbox Game Pass, and so is Dirt Rally 2.0, which is perfect for true rally purists, delivering a degree of realism which will delight gearheads and also offer a real challenge for even the most hardcore racing fans.
And if you're a stickler for that kind of immersion, then Assetto Corsa is another great option. This racing sim boasts perhaps one of the most realistic driving experiences ever to be had on a gamepad. Whether you're revving the engine of a supercar, hypercar, or a full-blown racer, the game ensures that you feel every bit of the vehicle's weight and power along the way. While other games can reduce driving to just holding down the accelerate button, Assetto Corsa turns every mile into a delicate operation as you try to coax this 900 brake horsepower mechanical monster along the course without turning the whole thing into the world's most expensive firework. If you're dying to know what it really feels like to drive a supercar but don't expect to come into a small fortune anytime soon, Assetto Corsa might be your best bet.
Alright, hear us out on this one before you get, "Oh, it's not a racing game," down in the comments, okay? The big selling point, which turned the Grand Theft Auto series into a global phenomenon, other than the fact that it's super fun to do crimes, is that it offers you a true sandbox experience in which you can do basically whatever you want. It just so happens, though, that most of us wanted to do crimes. But also, a lot of us wanted to race cars, and so a thriving GTA 5 community has been built around that very premise. Whether you're in the mood for a simple street race, or you want to pull off some wicked stunts along the way, or whether you want to bike through the woods, or I don't know, take to the skies, whether you're in it for the money, or if you just really want to terrify some bystanders, GTA 5 lets you speed through San Andreas in whatever fashion you like. Over the years, the options have only got more expansive as well, thanks to a steady stream of increasingly zany updates, and the community's passion for reckless driving certainly doesn't seem to be dying off at any time soon. So this race is far from over.
Also tearing it up on the wrong side of the tracks is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Playing as either an illegal street racer or one of the astonishingly well-funded cops who are hunting them, Hot Pursuit is all about high-speed chases. Both sides have a few high-tech tricks up their sleeves to help them out, from EMPs that temporarily disable enemy vehicles to tire-popping road spikes, all of which seems really excessive for a bunch of guys who are just doing illegal street races, but then the Fast and Furious crew ended up going into outer space, so maybe you do have to nip these things in the bud. Either way, Hot Pursuit is an absolute blast, putting your reflexes to the test as you try to outfox your opponent while traveling at 200 miles an hour. Oh, and by the way, thanks to EA Play, those of you who are lucky enough to have an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription can also take on the boys in blue in Need for Speed Heat, or let that rivalry hot up even more in Need for Speed Rivals, or go back to basics with 2015's not at all confusingly titled Need for Speed.
While some of the games that me and Henry have mentioned here have impressive maps, it still feels worth pointing out that The Crew 2 takes place in a literal recreation of the entire United States. It's a true more is more approach, effectively channeling the true spirit of the USA. Best of all, this scaled-down version of America is absolutely chock-a-block with racing events of all kinds, from off-road adventures through the sprawling western plains to tight-knit dashes through the streets of New York City. But what really sets the Crew 2 apart from all other racers is the freedom it gives you to switch between vehicles on the fly, allowing you to tear up the tarmac in a supercar, then transform into a plane and take to the skies, and then if you're feeling it, you can crash down into the water as a speedboat to finish off your journey. So not only do you have an entire country to race across, but a whole bunch of different ways to do it as well.
Thanks to its exaggerated physics and dizzying speed, Trackmania Turbo is a time trial game in which even the slightest miscalculation will send you crashing off course like a helpless wind-up toy. Driving along a regular racetrack with such volatile vehicles would be challenging enough, and Trackmania's courses are anything but normal. Expect to see loop-de-loops, hairpin bends, and whole sections where you're driving up the wall or going totally upside down. Just trying to make it to the end of the track in one piece is a knuckle-whitening experience where you're never more than a few millimeters away from abject failure. But fortunately, the game's controls are so tight and the handling is so hair-trigger fine that it always feels totally fair, making the moment when you finally shoot across the finish line incomparably satisfying.
And finally, if you're hyped for the incredible realism of Forza Horizon 5, but kind of fancy taking a slightly more colourful detour along the way, then might I suggest Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled and Sonic Team Racing. Both are cracking options. You'll find all of your favourite characters plus a ton of tracks based around the game's iconic levels, but even if you don't know your Ripperoos from your Robotniks, you could still have a great time walloping your friends with rockets, bombs and witch doctor masks as you power slide your way to victory. Because Forza Horizon 5 will obviously inevitably be a really good game, but it probably won't let you play as a genetically spliced dingo crocodile hybrid or a giant purple cat.
Whether you're looking for a bracingly realistic racing experience or just want to watch crazy things happen at very high speeds, there are all kinds of great options available to keep your engine going. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Be sure to hit that like button and remember to subscribe for more videos like this.